Hello, lovely people. This is Nicola, back in the Stitches and Slapdashery sewing room. Blogtober's hardly over, and I'm itching to get recording stuff again for you, because I'm having some fun. It's Saturday, November 2nd, right now, and I have, a few hours free, I think. Unless Mr. Stitches wants to drag me out for an afternoon walk rather than an evening one, but we'll worry about that when the time comes. So I've made a big mess here. I went through this box of Christmas fabrics and I have pulled out this set of coordinating fabrics for now. The gnomes, the candy canes, why can I never remember what those things are called? Snowflakes and robins and trees. So this is basically a coordinating set of fabric. So I'm going to probably be using very small amounts of these for what I plan to do next. While I was searching around my sewing room, I found some of these that I like to use. These are ones that didn't get used last year, so they're not written on. Mind you, it doesn't matter if they've been written on, does it? Because I'm going to glue them onto something. Maybe it would be better to use the ones that are written on. Hold on a minute. I'm sure I had another little teddy bear like that. Oh, there's a penguin one, which I wrote on. So I'll use that one. There's a teddy bear one that's been written on. So I think I'll use those. And then I've got a couple of larger ones. This actually will coordinate really nicely with that fabric, coincidentally. And then this one, I think, the Peace, Love and Joy. So I'm just gathering stuff right now because I have an idea. I've got a couple of little organza bags. Not sure where those came from. I have some very tiny, you see those without me spilling them? Tiny jingle bells in red, gold and green. There's some other stuff in there as well because that's one of my jewellery accessories from in the jewellery drawer. But anyway, that's fine. I discovered, or should I say I rediscovered, this dollar store thing I bought last year full of little rubber stamps. And they're all silvery. So I've got a reindeer in there and a gingerbread person and a snow person and a Santa and a little teeny tiny penguin. So that is a Christmassy themed, and a tree. Christmassy themed rubber stamps. I have some jute cord. I have my other little collection. This is the box that I keep them in on the shelf. So I've got some other rubber stamps in here that were all from the thrift store. And I can't remember what I have in there because it's been so long. Let's take a look and see if there's anything seasonal, shall we? Winter seasonal. I have a black stamp pad there. Now, right. This set came with a coloured stamp pad. It's tiny. It's right in the bottom of there. Hopefully it hasn't dried out. But this looks quite festive, doesn't it? Isn't that lovely? Quite a few flowery ones. That one doesn't have the pattern printed on the back, so it's not really easy to tell what that was. But let me see what else I've got. Oh, I've got a thank you one. I think I just got a really big bag from the thrift store once. And that's lovely. It's a fairy, but not really for the season I'm working with. I've got my glue and my old fabric scissors that are not going to hurt if I use them for paper. Got some gold yarn or crochet thread. I have a few envelopes. I have quite a lot of large sheets of paper in lovely white and gold. If I use these, it'll be a very small amount of each, probably. I'm losing my voice. I have this from the dollar store, which I got, I think, at the same time as I got that little rubber stamp set. And it has quite a few lovely prints in it. Just small. What size are they? 6 by 6 inches. They're a nice usable size. There's those. And then I have this pad, which I think came from the thrift shop too. And these are not really seasonal, but I did spot one that was really shiny. If I can find it again. Look at that amazing pattern. Wow. I need to come up with something to do with these, don't I? No point getting this sort of thing and let it moulder away on the shelf. Okay, so there's maybe one piece of gold paper there, so that'll do. The rest of that might go back on the shelf for now. So why am I collecting all of this, you may ask? I hear you ask. Last year, I made this. Now, from watching Kate at the last Homely House, I got quite excited about making books last year. And I made this one. I can't remember what the name of this binding is, but you make 3 holes, and I can't remember the order in which you do this either, but you bind it just with string. It goes up and over at the end, and then you get a string all the way down the back, going through the holes, and then all the way down the front. And I used 2 of the sheets from this little pad as the cover. And then I made a book with just some lined paper, some plain paper, some envelopes. So these tickets were ones that I saved from the show we went to when we went to Victoria last December. So this was all about last December and Vlogmas, basically. Made a list of all the fabric and yarn shops in Victoria as we were visiting. Did not make it to them all. I had some music paper. I have a feeling I've tossed out a lot of my scraps of things and recycled them. May regret that. That was my packing list there for the holiday. So a to make list. I think I got this out of some sort of booklet or magazine, or I don't know what it was. So I didn't actually fill it completely, but I did keep a diary of my Vlogmas and my holiday in Victoria, and there's a map of Victoria in the back. And I just found this the other week on the shelf underneath my coffee table, and I thought it would be lovely to make something similar for this December. And you know, I don't know what it is about November, but November always seems to be one of those months where you don't really get a lot done, because you think, oh, Halloween's over, fall stuff is kind of over, and Christmas isn't happening for ages yet. And then suddenly you realize Christmas is in a week and you haven't done a thing. I mean, there's just the 5 of us. We all live in the same house. We don't do a big thing for Christmas. Some years we've gone overboard and bought tons of presents for each other, but really mostly we just have a big dinner and then just play games. But with Vlogmas coming, I have my cross stitch ready and I have my lovely cottage spun yarn ready, and I just thought it would be lovely to make another book to keep a log of this year's Vlogmas and also our little anniversary retreat that's coming up December. I can't remember the exact dates, but December 10th is our anniversary. How many years is it now? I have to do the math. 37 years, I think. It was 1987 we got married. Yeah. So we got married December 10th, 1987, which is hard to believe now. Crazy. And we do try and go away every year for it, have a little retreat. So it would be nice to keep a little log of that as well. So I was spurred to action because I was watching Kate at the last Homely House just today. She has a short series of extra videos happening this week because every year she does a special thing in her Christmas shop. And normally it's a big fancy Christmas box that's full of wonderful handmade things from craftspeople she knows. This year they're doing individual things, and one of the things you can buy is a pack of ephemera, if for want of a better word. It's going to be a journal making kit, and she was putting together pages and just doing a simple binding, or rather she wasn't binding them, she was just punching the holes so that the people who bought it could do the binding. And they were putting together packs of fabric and packs of paper and things like that. And I thought, yeah, I've really got to get onto this. I really want to do it. So that's the plan for this afternoon. Look what I found while I was hunting around for stuff to use in my sewing room. My sewing witch earrings that I made for last Halloween to go with my outfit. Right, I've rounded up some paper and my hammer and my 4mm eyelet tool and a large-eyed needle for the binding. I really have no plan at the moment, so I'm not sure how this is all going to come together. I can't remember how to do this, and to get it just right, you have to do it in a certain order. So I may do a simpler binding than that this year. So the question is, how big do I want to make this book? I feel like a more practical size would just be half of that size, because that way I wouldn't be cutting it really small like I did with that last one. Let's have a look. Right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this dotty paper just a bit bigger. Oh, I know what I need, my Fiskars paper cutter. Something else I didn't think of, my Fiskars paper cutter, and when I went to the drawer for that, I found this bag of miscellaneous stuff from previous journal making. Ooh. It's all looking a bit silvery, and I feel like I'm going more for gold at the moment, but let's have a quick look through here. Anything? See if anything appeals. I've got old pattern paper, some tape measure ribbon, and some random cord. Oh, more cord. Yeah, not loving it. So I think that's all going to go back in its bag, and we'll ignore that. Okay, let's trim this down. I want my outer cover to be a bit larger than the pieces of paper so that they don't stick out when I've trimmed them, when I've or when I've inserted them, I should say. Now, I'm changing my mind about this fabric at the moment. I'm going to stick with paper for now. So we're going to fold this to find the middle. And then the size of my notebook or journal will be that. So what I'm going to do is just stack up some sheets of paper. Don't really like the fact that this one has holes in. Also, because my sheets of paper are going to be sideways, the lines are going to be vertical. But that's all right, that doesn't matter. What I can do is I could always embellish over the holes, couldn't I? All right, let's just do some stacking. So plain, lined, squared. You know what's going to happen, right? My room is going to be all messy after this, and I'm going to be telling you, oh, look, I have to tidy my sewing room again. I feel like I want to use that somewhere. I'll incorporate it somewhere. I'm just not sure where yet. So last year, I glued in all these bits and pieces, like envelopes and pieces of music, ribbons. This one might be a little bit different. So for this, I am going to position this and then put 3 holes down the center. This is going to be the noisy part. Before I line it all up, I've already creased that exactly where I want it to be. Just put some dots where I want the holes to be. I'll use my erasable friction pen just in case I mess up. So how big is this thing? 9 1/4 inches. Yes. 4 1/2 plus an 8. Duh. Okay. Now we'll put the other holes, I think, 2 inches in from the ends to keep it simple. Okay, we're just going to go for it. Now this lovely tool is not a cheap crappy thing that I bought with my eyelet kit from Fabricland. It's a super sharp, wonderful thing that works beautifully from Leevalley. I know I've mentioned Leevalley before. Things from there work like a dream as a rule. I bought a set of 4mm eyelets from Fabricland once, and they came with a thing that looked like this, a smaller version of it, and it was blunt as heck. It was absolute rubbish. Yeah, let's use some gold. I used jute last year, but I think I'm going to use gold crochet thread for this. As long as it doesn't twist around on me. The knot. I bought this gold stuff when I was making, oh wow, that was a long time ago. I made a princess, crocheted princess with a little crown. And I think that was because I sent the book. Oh man. What's that guy's name who wrote all those brilliant books for children? Oh, Paper Bag Princess, that's right. Can't remember his name right now. Robert Munch, there you go. Knew it would come to me. Robert Munch, Paper Bag Princess. And I bought that for my sister's first grandchild by marriage. And I made the toy to go with it. Okay, so you go from the outside and then through that hole. I'm trying to remember how Kate did it on the video this morning. And then I think you just come down to that last hole and then out of this hole. And so you want these two strands to be on opposite sides of the thread. Here we go. And I'm creasing up my paper. Ah, right, of course. I'm using a double strand. That means I'm going to have to do a little bit of wangling here because it's gone all loosey-goosey on me. Okay, so I went into the middle one, out through the far one, over to this nearest one, through and then back through the middle hole. And then your two ends need to be either side of that so that you can then tie it. Yeah, I'm glad I used the gold. It works perfectly with the paper. Oh, fabric, Nicola. Words. Now, should I leave that? Oh, you know what I could do? If I leave it long, I could put some sort of dangly thing on it later. I could put something decorative on that later, so I will just cut it long for now. Oh, well, look at that. I have jingle bells. What am I thinking? I have jingle bells. There we go. A little jingly spine. Everyone needs a jingly spine for Christmas. Of course, I should probably have put the bells on at the end because now I've got a lumpy bit sitting underneath there. But that's okay. But, oh, there we go. I don't need the needle anymore, I don't think. So now it's a case of embellishing. Yeah, I'm having second thoughts about fabric. I think I might just keep this as paper and stamps and things. Let's slice up this page a little bit. Oh, yikes, that came out quickly. Just as well it dries clear. All right, we're going to make a pocket for the front cover. I really hope my stamp pads haven't dried up because I haven't used them probably in a year. That's got, where are you? You are here. Gold, silver, red and green. In theory, if it works. And then I have a black one here as well. Now let's just try some little silver stamps down the front of here. Oh, it came out more green than silver. Maybe I'll just go with whatever comes out. I don't know if the red ever really worked. So I've got a little border on the edge of snowflakes. Oh, you can see this has gone all wavy because it's so gluey. And it's made this all damp, so hopefully that'll dry all right. So there'll be a little pocket here. So for this page, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to have an envelope. Actually, no, I'm going to do that on the back cover. I'm going to put a red envelope on the inside back cover for popping in little treasures. I'll try not to go so mad on the glue. I know I could have used a glue stick, couldn't I? Oh, you guys are probably cringing. Oh, other way. I want it to open towards the outside of the book so that I can get in there okay. Okay, that's fine. Now, how about a little, how about a big stamp on that one? Let's see if I can get the deer stamp to work beautifully on this. Oh, yes. Look at that. Ooh. Now we're going to put another little envelope here, because that can cover up this hole, which I don't particularly like. Can't really see it very well. Little reindeer, very faint ones. What else have we got? Oh, that one's cute. So for last year's book, I didn't write on every page. And really, that was not the intention, was to fill the whole book. But I did have fun using it, which is what it was all about. Okay, now we need to have a definite theme of a penguin to this page. There we are. Got a penguin-y page now. I have to say, I am not good at this. But you know what? You don't have to be good at something to enjoy it, do you? So you've basically just got to be like a kid again. All right, so that made a nice little border. So I don't know if I need anything else on that page. Don't you just love having options? I'd love to know how many of you are multi-stitchable. So, are you a crocheter? Are you a knitter? Are you a sewist? Are you a scrapbooker? Or do you just do a bit of everything? I love having options because, you know, sometimes you're not in the mood for one thing, but you are in the mood for another. I have to confess that hood of the Technicolor Dreamcoat is in the naughty corner right now, as in the corner of my sofa, and I'm doing my best to ignore it because it annoyed me the other day and I just don't want to do anything on it right now. I have made some good progress on the Bali hat, which I can show you. You may have seen my picture on Instagram of me trying on the Bali hat with the needles still in, and looked kind of odd because the needles are sticking up in the air. And you know, I had a fantastic idea. As a result of that, I had a fantastic idea for next Halloween. I could dress as an unfinished object. And you know, that's scary, isn't it? Unfinished objects to we crafters, that's a scary thing. So it would be perfect. I could wear a hat still on the needles and a half finished sweater or something like that. That would just be hilarious. Okay, let's have our peace, love, and joy. I'm going to have used up all my good stuff in the first half of the book, aren't I? It's okay. Oh, that's pretty. Look at that one. It's trees and reindeer. Oh, I love that. You know I'm going to have to use that one, don't you? What else have we got? More gold and white. I think I've got enough gold and white. Okay, that's a bit of a cheesy Santa thing. I'm not going to be using that. I like to mislead myself and pretend that what I'm making is not cheesy, but you know, sometimes it is. Oh, oh yes. Look at this one. Isn't that pretty? And I'll try not to be so heavy-handed on the glue this time. This is probably one situation where I really should just go and get my glue stick out of the pouch it's in. I went a bit mad again, didn't I? Here it goes. And then maybe use this on the edge of the page and put some tree stamps there. Oh, look, I love it. You know, working at Michael's, I'm going to really have to use my best effort not to buy a ton of stuff in December, because it's going to be so tempting to play around with gel pens and goodness knows what else. Don't think that needs anything else at the moment. There's another page done. So I just went and closed up my glue, which was a bit silly because I'm still working with it. Going to put these gnomes near the top because a lot of the things I've stuck towards the bottom, and it's going to be thicker at the bottom of this book. I don't put some stuff at the top. Oh, those gnomes are so cute. Shame I don't have any gnome rubber stamps, isn't it? Probably could find that somewhere. And then this stuff has got some rather cute little birds on. And then I think we're just about done with that part of things. Now, I just remembered that I have this yarn. It's called Hobie Universe Christmas. I used to call it Hobby, but then I heard one of the people on their ads call it Hobie. So I'm going with that. And it's a fingering weight yarn, reds and greens with a bit of pink in there, and some sparkle. And I've had it probably for a couple of years. But because it's fingering weight, I never got to make anything with it. Oh, I'm such a chicken when it comes to skinny yarn. I really am. And this little crocheted doohickey, it's a little bag. I don't know if you can see this properly. I'm leaning to see if you can see this properly. So this little bag was a test crochet piece for somebody a while back. And it makes a great little yarn bowl. So maybe I could use some of this yarn to attach to the top of my bookmark. Where's my cutter gone? I love how sharp that is. Well, that was fun. I think I've probably had enough of embellishing. I wonder if I should have something on the front that says what this is for. Well, my battery on my phone, I just hit my microphone. Well, my battery on my phone is going to be dying soon. So it's just as well I finished my project for now anyway. I'm not saying I'm not going to add any more embellishment, but I think it's pretty good so far. It's going to have some considerable drying time because I did use quite a bit of glue in there. So I'm going to leave it open to air out. But that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. Even got a matching bookmark. Of course, my table is an absolute disaster, so I'm going to have to be doing some tidying up later. But first, Mr. Stitches and I are going out for a walk while it's still light and before dinner time. So hopefully when I come back to this later, I won't have lots of pages stuck to each other in the wrong spots. I'll be looking forward to using that in December. I can keep notes on all my Vlogmas episodes and any projects that I'm doing, and also make a little journal for our few days away for our anniversary retreat. So that's fun. Let me know if you decide to make something similar. And if you do and you take a photograph of it, you could always tag me on Instagram. So if you put a photograph on Instagram and then put @Stitches and Slapdashery, then I will get a ping and I'll be able to take a look. Thanks for watching along while I made my little journal, and I'll see you next time for something else.